Dr. Chum Nyama. It's not a book doctor, a medical doctor. You're a member of the health committee, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. Due to some exigencies of the mornings here, he's been a bit late. It's because of the traffic. You know, Accra becoming a lot more congested, as we say, but he's here. We wanted to move on to some other suburb, but we already had talked about, now we're told, according to a statement initialed by the communications minister, that the acting head of ISD had been relieved of his position. And what do you make of it first? And then I ask you the subsequent question I thought was appropriate.
First of all, I will say thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Good morning to your viewers.
And your constituents.
And my constituents at Brekum, I'm sure they are watching me. Seriously, the embarrassment to the country on the 6th of March was really a big one. To the extent that, I mean, there was a mistake even to who was the president on the brochure, coupled with a lot of typographical errors. And I guess when something like this happens, somebody will have to own up and take the responsibility. Unfortunately, it's been a bit absent in Ghana. We always want to pass the buck for a problem that occurs. And what even made matters worse was the fact that even a supposed apology to the country for what had happened on the 6th of March was even riddled with a lot of errors, dates and all that. So I think it was one too many. So if the person in charge has been relieved of his position, I think it's in the right direction. But the question is, was he the one who actually, was in charge of making the brochures? Because we've had other information as to the fact that the ISD, which should have been mandated to do that, were not actually the outfit that did it. So even some of the staff are not happy that their boss actually took that responsibility. So I think we will have to look more into it. Is it that somebody is more or less bearing the brunt for another person's indecision? Is it that maybe a big person somewhere is trying to sacrifice a smaller fish because there's a problem? We need to interrogate this. But the bigger picture is that we should be very thorough in whatever we do, because we cannot always be apologizing and be looking for excuses for issues like this. I think, that was our 59th independence celebration. So it means we've done it 58 times before. And we should have had a lot of experience.
So you're saying that we have no excuse for what happened?
Seriously, because it's not like it's a one-off thing that has happened.
Okay.
We've been doing it over the years. So how come we had this terrible experience with all these dignitaries coming around? So, internet communication is all over the world. It's really bad. And I think the earlier people set up to do the right thing, the better it will be for all of us. Everybody should be very thorough in whatever he or she does, so that we can maximize our, output in every sector of the country. This should be a wake-up call to everybody who is doing anything in this country, that we cannot afford to be making such unpardonable errors all the time, just to come in and apologize. Sometimes
it's
we
not enough.
Apologize. When you remember, there was a day the president was speaking to dignitaries at the ECOWAS summit, and a page of his speech was missing. It was really embarrassing. It has to take his own, ingenuity to sort of manage the situation. We didn't hear any, body being punished for this. I think if we do not correct these anomalies, we will get to a stage where it will embarrass the whole nation big time, just like we experienced on our Independence Day. No other day than our Independence Day. Very, very painful.
The Electoral Commission is going to pilot the registration, because they're going to have a limited registration exercise. That's going to take place, I believe, from next month.
Yeah, the limited registration will start from the 28th of April.
Into May?
Yes.
Into May?
Yes.
Okay. Now, they said they have updated their software, and the whole equipment that they are using. So they wanted to pilot and make sure that they have at least the right processes and they are able to assess how effectively the machines could withstand the pressure. What do you make of this because I know it's part of the roadmap?
Well, for any new venture, it is good you pilot it so that you can see some of the shortfalls and correct them. Incidentally, one of a polling station in my constituency is
Brekum East.
Yes, it's part of the pilot. But my difficulty is that it looks like the polling stations are quite too few for me. I mean, we're going to have, I think, around 29,000 polling stations in the main elections. And if you are piloting your equipment, I was thinking that maybe they could have maybe a bit of a number, maybe 50 or 100 to make sure.
A lot more than the current.
Yes, you can have.
So you wanted almost like a mock?
Something like that. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they are looking at the cost implications, but not all the constituencies are even involved. I was thinking maybe they could have tried to, if not every constituency having one polling station to be tested, at least a bit more in all the regions to ensure that it can really be more representative of the whole country. But let's see how it goes. We don't want the situation whereby when the actual registration is going on, you'll be having breakdown of some of the equipment, creating panic, delays and all that, so that people will not have the opportunity to exploit the situation to create, havoc in a lot of areas. We want peace and tranquility throughout all these exercises. Some people are maybe planning to cause one or two mayhem, but if you don't give them the right opportunity, they may not be able to do it. So we are hoping that they will put their acts together to make sure everything is done perfectly, to ensure that we have an incident-free registration, so that we can prepare ourselves adequately for a more peaceful and fair election in November 2016.
Well, following this very announcement, this has led to questions being raised, especially by CODEO, and it's the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. They've been involved in our elections for a very long time, thinking that, well, some of the gestures and postures by the Electoral Commission doesn't give civil society such confidence that the Electoral Commission is on the right path. Now, i.e., the subject of even reading or perhaps cleaning the voters' register, as and when it has to be done, etc.
Thank you very much. I think yesterday I listened to the fact that some gentleman was indicating that the cleaning
is the director of
the cleaning of the voter register should have been done before.
Okay, that's CODEO, the national coordinator of CODEO.
Yes, and I think that is very important that as we upgrade the software, there is the need, as my brother indicated, to test it. And you need to do some sampling, sample some polling stations and try it, and then finally use it in the limited registration. As far as I'm aware, Electoral Commission currently do not have 29,000 of the biometric machines. And because of that, they indicated that even the limited registration, it will be per electoral areas.
You mean they'll be moving the machines around?
Yes, that means that they will pick an electoral area.
Conduct it.
It will be in a cluster.
Instead of
so it is not a mass.
It's not per polling station.
It's not a mass one.
No.
No, it will be conducted same period,
Yes.
but not deployed per
every polling station.
Okay.
No.
So within a constituency, they will have certain
they will classify them into electoral areas.
Okay.
So that means
so you enter an electoral area, you go to one
community you can cover and then move along. So
that
that
whole
indicates that the number of machines aren't that enough to cover all the polling stations. Then in terms of eliminating the ghost names and all that.
Minors.
Yes. Minors.
And those who are not supposed to be like foreigners.
It's like you want to clean You pick some stones out of your rice. There are new ones coming. Then you pick this one. Then you come and mix this one.
Which could have also...
Who have stones. Okay. Then you start picking all over again.
So your argument is...
I believe that the processes should go on with the limited registration. Now we have an entire register. Then the next stage is effort to clean the register. But if we want to do it in bits, we'll have difficulties as to how to properly clean it. So I believe that once they have a timetable and there's a period for cleaning the register, we should follow it until when it gets to the cleaning of the register and we are not convinced. So it is good that we do this sample once, then we do the limited registration, then they come up with the entire register so that both the old and this limited registration will be taken care of at once. We should know cleaning, it costs. If we do it now, spend money, and the next moment we are not going back with the limited registration to clean, even though the number might be few, but it will cost the same amount because you need to employ the same number of people at the various police stations to do that. So I think that we should let the process go, and there is a period to do the proper cleaning. But EC must be transparent so that everybody has a say.
Because I was coming to that very issue that he raised, the last bit. The thing is, you're dealing with a stakeholder community, and your main stakeholders are the political parties, and i.e. whatever it is that you want to implement or deploy, you need to have a certain buy-in. Do you think the Electoral Commission is communicating enough? If it's not, is that why there's some ambiguity about what clarity there is on the electoral register and what sort of confidence the Electoral Commission gives the various stakeholders, the political parties, the civil societies, organizations, and even the general electorate public?
I think the transparency aspect is really worrying. You know, for a serious organization like Codeo, which have been very active in our electoral matters in the country, to be saying this is really not the best. I think there should be continuous engagement for all the interested parties to be aware of whatever is happening. Already, the timetable the Electoral Commission gave to the people of Ghana when they met us in Parliament has had to be changed. We want the electoral registry to have been done in March, but we were told because they could not send their new, CI to Parliament on time, they couldn't have matured before the registration. We had these problems in the previous electoral cycle where the time that it would take for these CIs to mature. But you've given yourself a timetable, and then we allow these times to, compress, and you now have to change. Now it means you are doing the registration later than your normal time. This year we have had to, we've closed the election date by a whole month. So it means you have to do a lot of things at the same time. When the stakeholders met, the issue of cleaning the register came up. So I was thinking there should have been a proper, if you like, timetable to go through all this. But it's like people do not really know what is going on. This might have, prompted the Codeo, group to issue this statement. So what is really going on? Because there are a lot of tension, people do not know what is going on. People will be speculating. But I think the EC will do well to let everybody know what is going on. If this is what you are doing, tell everybody so that we know that we are on course. We all put our hearts at ease and then hope and follow the process to make sure they, go through as we all expect. But as it is now, it's like they've put everything on their chest. The cards are on their chest, and they decide what has to happen. We know that constitutionally they are mandated to do all these things, but it's good governance and everything ensures that you have to engage your partners to make sure they go through with you. So I will entreat the EC to be more transparent and let all the stakeholders follow. They may not all agree with you, but once you tell them, they know. So sometimes they cannot, give excuses that they've been kept in the dark, and then, you know, they don't do what they have to do. The EC already has a lot of credibility problems in the country, so they have to do the extra work to ensure that they try to win back the confidence of all the people of Ghana.
Yeah, well, I was covering the last election too, and I do admit there were a number of difficulties, but sometimes I feel perhaps you, the political stakeholders, the political parties, put excessive pressure on the Electoral Commission. Of course, there's the subject of the IE, the period, 21 days maturity. First, it has to be looked at before even the 21-day maturity and things like that. But aren't we sometimes putting the cart before the horse?
Thank you very much. Every political party will always want to have its way. Yeah. So, yeah, every political party will always wish that things should be done this way. And another one thing that things should be done, and most occasions we agree at IPAC at the end of the day that this should be the way it should be done. It is left on the Electoral Commission to prove its resilience. Listen, as we indicated, be transparent. Let everybody contribute. At the end of the day, when you take a decision, involve them and explain to all the stakeholders.
Because one of the things I keep hearing is that you don't have confidence in the electoral calendar, for example, that it has brought out. Because one, the first activity has already been breached.
Yes.
The timeline, for example. And so then we're focusing that, then the election cannot even be held on November 7th.
Yeah.
And we have, even though only 7 months, some way to go.
No, but that is, they have the responsibility to prove beyond reasonable doubt
that you are wrong.
That we are on course and we would be able to.
Do you think they're giving you that sort of confidence?
Yeah, the timetable they've given out, if the second one, if they are able to follow it,
fine. I
have the belief that come November 7th, we'll have the general election taken. So they have to now prove to us. That is what my belief. But they should go beyond to let me finally have complete belief, because not every Ghanaian have that belief. I believe that with the second one, if we're able to rule it out, and that's why I use the word if, that means I'm not very certain. So they have the responsibility to let me change the if.
Okay, let's look at some political party news. Ninoy Norte, he's called Valentino Ninoy Norte. Sometime last year, during the MPP primaries, he won for, is it Clote Colley?
Yes.
And then his opponent, one Lawyer Addison and the other, they petitioned the court. And following that, I think some judgment was given. And there was supposed to be a rerun. The rerun was undertaken. After the conducting the rerun, his opponent won. Now he's convened a press conference announcing that he's going independent. And hell has broken loose. Your party, everybody seems to be calling him, even though the calls were not done prior. What do you make of the current scenario, especially for a constituency which has always been swing since 1992, or I should say since 2000?
Well, to tell you, I'm really disappointed in the leadership of our party as far as this issue is concerned. As you rightly indicated, Korle Clote has been a swing constituency. We won it in 2000 and 2004. And then we lost it in 2008 and 2012. And in 2016, we were really preparing ourselves to win back this seat, especially when all the issues regarding the NDC, a lot of difficulties were happening. Obviously, you have to take advantage. So it's really unfortunate that our leadership have actually sat down for this problem to fester to this stage, for, Ninoy to declare finally that he's going independent. The signals were on the wall that things were not moving on very well in that constituency. And they behaved like ostriches, unfortunately. And now, as you rightly indicated, a lot of calls on Ninoy, the calls never came initially. So personally, I think this issue, the leadership should be blamed, and they have caused the mess. They should rightly prove to the rank and file of the party that they are on top of the issues by solving this problem. If we've been losing these elections, even when we go with one candidate, what is the guarantee that when we have two candidates
who are members
virtually going to split our votes, how do we win? Independent, phenomenon was what cost us our elections in 2008. We had a lot of independent candidates because of
the
perceived
satisfaction,
injustice in how the primaries were conducted. And a lot of those constituencies, we actually lost votes. If you combine the votes of those two candidates from the party, they were always higher than what our flag bearer got. So we tell people were disenchanted. Some of them actually crossed carpet to vote for other flag bearers apart from our flag bearer. And we lost the elections by, a very close margin. We should have learned our lessons moving forward to make sure we do all our things, above board. A lot of things have happened. I'm not ready to go into details. I don't want to wash our dirty linen in public.
I think that's appropriate.
I will say that
you should be a true party man.
The problem is a leadership problem.
And it has to be solved.
And our leadership must solve this problem. The sooner they do that, the better it will be for the party.
I know this is an issue. Also, you also have peculiar issues.
We have our own issues.
So I know that you'll be very much guarded in what you say. but whatever it is, it's about trying to manage people's sentiments and people's grievances. As political parties, how do you make sure you do that so that things like this? Because, for example, the MPP also has Mensia ongoing. It's another, is it Mensia North?
No,
it has,
Mensia North.
It's a brewing brew, so to speak. It's brewing out there. It's a pot that is already having its own connotations.
Yeah, as I indicated, Koliklote is a hot place. Both parties have issues. Currently, Senator Rollins is in court, and they are battling it out. So, however, I've also, as a politician, very interested in taking advantage. When they are started, I've monitored it all over up to this stage. I think the elections were organized there by the party.
August.
Yes.
2015.
Yes. It wasn't Nino who organized it. The party organized it, and he won. The first thing I realized, the difference between the first election and the second, congratulatory messages were not given to him. The second one, immediately Addison won, the party congratulated him. The flag bearer also congratulated him. So this shows two different scenarios. That is one. Addison didn't sue Ninoy. He sued the party so that it will be rerun. The representation, the party filing its defense was not that of any zeal. At certain points, the party doesn't appear in court. And other point, they go and quickly it's adjourned. And when cases move like that, automatically, it will go to one side. So that also indicates that the leadership of the party was not so much interested in that case. And therefore, that goes to prove that they actually wanted a rerun. Then when it was done, he was not comfortable. He refused to sign. And I thought the moment he refused to sign should have been the beginning of leadership intervening. Yeah, that tells you that, hey, this guy is aggrieved. And if we don't move in now, and he takes a decision before we move in, we'll have challenges. But all that time, he refused and all that. I've not seen leadership making effort to ensure that he doesn't take a decision. Then they waited until he came out with a press conference, first blaming leadership, before they now went in. And I don't think they needed to have waited until they are blamed by Ninoy before they will start going in for reconciliation. They should have done that a long time, because he didn't take the decision at a spot. It took quite a while, and that is where the intervention should have come. So For us, he has taken a good decision.
Why is he taking a good decision? For you as an NDC?
That is why I say for us, he has taken a good decision. Because the posture of leadership, they didn't show the sign that everybody is important in the party.
Now, when it comes to such things, for example, he organized a press conference. He's bad-mouthing the leadership too much, even to the point that indirectly bad-mouthing the flag bearer. At what point then do you have to go and sit an individual down and say, please, you're a true son of the party? And I know Ninoy very well because he's a friend of a colleague I work with back at my old station in TV3, so I know him very well. And I've known him since the year 2000 and all that. So it's somebody who has always been associated with the MPP in Clotte College. How do you go in for somebody like this who has been a chairman of the constituency and say, please don't talk too much, don't say too much, you may be aggrieved, but we will want to settle things. When the grievance, perhaps the center of or the thrust of the issue has not been resolved?
Roland, as I said earlier, there is a lot I could have talked about, but at this time, in this state, in the exigencies
you would want to be a
of
true
time
party
now,
person. You don't want to.
I wouldn't want to say much, but just to say that this problem is a leadership problem, and our leaders will have to sit up and solve this problem. As our colleague rightly indicated, it is good for them that Ninoy is going solo, because for parliamentary elections where it's first past the post and a constituency that has been swinging, 2012, the margin was very close, and after their primaries, a lot of issues coming up, a party in opposition, very eager to win power. Every seat will matter. So, we had no excuse to have inflicted this problem on ourselves. This is a self-inflicted problem. And I think the leadership, wherever they were, when they allowed this issue to reach this stage, the signs were on the wall. Everybody knew that this thing was boiling. It will get to this stage if nothing was done. Better late than never. They should rise up and do the right thing so that we can present one candidate in the Clotte parliamentary elections. And I think when we do that, hopefully, we will be lucky to win the seat in the elections. But if this is not done and we go with these two candidates, I'm afraid. I'm not a soothsayer, but I'm only looking at, some of the ramifications. I don't think it will be good for us at all. Even the confidence that it will engender will be low. It will look like we are not organized. There's a lot of indecision. We are not united, and it will not really energize our rank and file to move out there and exercise their franchise to ensure that we win the election. So our leadership will have to solve this problem for us, and we are counting on them.
Are you a member of the National Council?
No.
Which of the body's steering committee? Which one? Are you?
I'm not.
No, you're an MP. So.
Yes. No, I'm just a member of parliament. The steering committee is the national executives.
Yeah.
There are reps. Our minority leader represents parliament on the steering committee.
Okay. So
and
that's
the council too.
So it's not all the MPs who are
at all.
Sorry for overestimating your prowess in taking decisions at
maybe
the leadership
when I grow, I'll be lucky to.
Yes. You are now young, so you relax. We're grooming you so that you'll be at the top there.
That is, then we have a little in Parliament. We have every region represented at the NEC meetings.
Okay.
At least 2 from each region. And I and then the MP for Sabuba.
Oh, okay.
Represent the Northern region. So when there's any NEC meeting,
You're always represented
from Parliament.
Okay,
yes.
We have to call it a morning, and Gladys already will be here to give us a lot more entertainment. And I've been here with Adam Mutawakilu. He's a member of Parliament for Damango. For those of you in Damango, you know him by the name Gallos, your former DCE. So, and then also Dr. Chumyama. He's a medical doctor, but also member of Parliament for Brekum East. And we say thanks, the two of you, for coming here. Very affable gentlemen as far as politicians are concerned. And so we're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have a lot more to talk about, a lot more entertainment next.